10 vintage artworks that still hold up today. That's what today's video is all about. I'm going to put a bit of an investing twist on it, but really we're looking at 10 vintage artworks that still hold up today. Now, when it comes to Pokemon cards, the artwork has a huge impact on both, how the community holds a card, its sentiment towards it, its future value. There's a lot of things that come into place with a Pokemon card's artwork and its future value. We all know cards that have aged extremely well, and we all know cards that haven't aged well. And if you don't know me, I'm a car salesman, and it's a lot like cars. There's certain cars that age really, really well, and there's other cars that just, hey, they certainly don't age like fine wine. They go downhill pretty damn quickly. So when it comes to Pokemon cards and artwork, I suppose it's really, really come into the forefront recently, hasn't it? Sun and Moon now has been out for 7 years, but towards the latter end of Sun and Moon, we had some alternate art Pokemon cards, particularly some tag team ones. And then Sword and Shield really popped it off with a bunch of alternative art Pokemon cards that just, sent collectors and investors into an absolute frenzy. And this has been continued on with illustration rares and special illustration rares into Scarlet and Violet era, where Pokemon cards are really becoming not so much just a playable piece of cardboard, but really, a piece of art with some serious collectability and some serious value behind it. So looking back, I want to go through 10 cards that I really think have stood the test of time. So these are my top 10 Wizards of the Coast era cards that I think have just, held their form, held their beauty across time. Hey, quick question though, what is your favorite Pokemon card artwork of all time? Doesn't need to be a Wizards of the Coast one. Could be modern, could be from your favorite era. Maybe you grew up with, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Maybe you grew up during Diamond and Pearl era and collected cards then. What's your favorite Pokemon card artwork of all time? Now, before we quickly jump into the top 10, there are a few that haven't aged well. My boy Weedle here from Base Set is one example. Venonat, another example from Jungle Set. When you look at the backgrounds of these cards, there's not really a great deal going on. In fact, some of them didn't even have like real life backgrounds. They were just, a white background or a plain colored background. So here's 10 though. Let's jump into them. These 10 are what I think are the best Wizards of the Coast artworks. Now, this is a really hard, I wouldn't say chore, but it's a really hard job to do. It's quite difficult to think, what are the top 10 artworks? So coming in at number 10 for me is Crystal Golem from Skyridge. I think, Crystal cards really set a little bit of a tone throughout that e-reader time. And, this Crystal Golem, I think, the way Golem's sort of, chilling there is just a phenomenal piece of artwork. Number 9 for me is Neo Revelations Houndoom. I think it really set the scene for this, no longer was Pokemon just about, fun and Pokemon just in their normal environment. This was a bit of a dark twist to it. Houndoom being a dark type Pokemon, the artist really captured the darkness theme to Houndoom. So I really, really like that card. Number 8 on the list, I have a real soft spot for Steelix. This is Neo Genesis Steelix. Speaking of Steelix, there's a beautiful one from, it's an illustration rare. What is it? It's Paradox Rift, isn't it? Sure it is. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's Paradox Rift. There's a beautiful illustration rare Steelix from, most likely, Paradox Rift. Fact check me on that if you need to. Anyway, Steelix I have a bit of a soft spot for, and this Neo Genesis Steelix is an absolute belter. Number 7 on the list, Umbreon. We all know the frenzy that the Moonbreon from Evolving Skies sent collectors and investors into only a couple of years ago now. But one of the original best Umbreon artworks is that one from Neo Discovery. Again, capturing the real dark type element that comes with Umbreon. Number 6 for me, there is a beautiful Mewtwo from Expedition Base Set. And same thing, one of the best things about artwork is where it really captures the Pokemon in its type, its environment, its ability or its attacks that it can do. And this Mewtwo is just another example of that. Number 5 for me on the list is Rocket's Scyther from Gym Heroes. Massive Scyther fan, but I couldn't put the Jungle Set Scyther on there. I used to have a deck based around Jungle Set Scyther, but I couldn't place him on there. That was my go-to as a kid. when I used to battle my friends with that cipher, but I really, really like the Rocket cipher from Gym Heroes. Well, we've only got 4 to go, hey, and geez, it's getting difficult, but here's one absolute belter of an artwork, which is Blastoise from Expedition Base Set. The way that Blastoise is just chilling through the water, you know, half in, half out, and in fact, Feraligatr had a really similar artwork to Blastoise in Expedition Base Set. I really think this artwork just pops off, and you know, it deserves the accolades it gets and the price point it gets, this card. 3 to go, hey. Oh, geez. Number 3 on the list. Neo Destiny's Shining Charizard. I love the feel of this card, how Charizard, it almost captured him from the show, I thought, where, you know, Charizard doesn't give a damn in the show. You know, he's just flying off. He doesn't care. So that's why I chose this Neo Destiny Charizard. And the Shining Pokemon deserve, you know, again, all the accolades that they get. Number 2 on the list, I couldn't go past the nostalgia or, you know, just the sheer value or sheer chase that this card brought. It was by far the most ferocious and best artwork that came out in base set, and that is, of course, base set Charizard. You know, this was the card that every kid wanted in the school ground. It was the most sought after. It still is the most expensive main set Pokemon card that money can buy, other than, of course, trophy cards and et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, base set, first edition Charizard. Again, like, he's not in that environment, so to speak, but it's really showing off his attitude and that ferocity that, you know, Charizard brought in the TV series. And if you got him in the game, choosing Charmander on the Game Boy, you know, I think that card deserves all the accolades it can get. Number 1 on the list, and this was actually really easy because as soon as I was starting this list, I was just like, I know what my number 1 is. Already know. Easy. Done. Sorted. Neo Revelation Shining Gyarados. This almost feels like it was the first or the original alternate art Pokemon card. Now, I know it doesn't take up the full card, of course, like alternate arts do, but it just has that feel, doesn't it? It has that, you know, similar feel to, say, like a Lugia V from Silver Tempest. You know, you've got the Fishman in the boat there, and then all of a sudden, Shining Gyarados, he's got those piercing eyes, comes out. You know, I didn't have any luck pulling this card as a kid, but I did pull the Shining Magikarp, which for me doesn't make it to the list, but I just wanted to pop that in there. That was the best Shining card that I ever pulled. But Shining Gyarados, what an artwork. Hey, like I said, tell me down below, what is your favorite Pokemon card artwork of all time? Now, it doesn't need to be a Wizards of the Coast era card. It could well be something super modern. It could well be, you know, Greninja from Twilight Masquerade. You know, it could be something like Alakazam, which from, you know, Alakazam special illustration rare from 151, which is my favorite Scarlet and Violet era special illustration rare. So let me know in the comments down below. And hey, you know, if something ages well, there's nostalgia attached to it, the artwork's phenomenal, the pull rates are right with modern cards, they're going to go down in history as something sought after and chased after. And if that's the case, generally from an investment standpoint, it's going to put you in good stead. I'm Michael, this is PokeOz, and I'll catch everyone next time.